Hello, and welcome to Law and Order SVU, the Law and Order SVU podcast here on FANVERSATION. I am Yael Tygiel. I'm joined as always by Taylor Gates. Hello, Taylor.
Hello.
Hello. I'm so excited. We are back with new episodes. This is season 22, episode 4, Sightless in a Savage Land. Good job.
I was trying. I was out of frame, but we got it up. There we go.
The framing is too tight here. Before we jump into this episode, as a reminder, if you are in a situation where you need help, please reach out to RAINN. Their number is 1-800-656-4673. Taylor, what does that spell?
It spells hope, you guys.
It does. And RAINN provides hope. So call them if you need them, 1-800-656-4673. Also, sometimes this show tackles some dark issues. And when that happens, we say inappropriate things. So please consider this your content warning before I say anything inappropriate. Let's be honest.
I love how you just took full responsibility this week. You were like, listen, this is me. This is my doing.
I made a note and I'm like, this is it. This is the one that's going to get me canceled. So consider yourself prepared. And if you're listening to us via podcast audio version, thank you. Hello and thank you. You don't see us. We look great.
Yeah, we do. You're missing out. I would go check the link just so you can be proven right. But
anyway, what did you think of this episode? Let me read the quick cap before. Let me do this in order. While the squad spends New Year's Eve tracking down an Amber Alert, ADA Carisi and Counselor Barba square off in an emotional courtroom battle. Sorry, my hesitation was because there's no punctuation.
Oh, where's a giant run-on? That's cool.
Yeah. So what did you think of this episode?
I thought the case itself was a little bit weak, I guess, but I kind of made up for it with like the courtroom theatrics and like the amazing openings and closings and jury selection, which I love that kind of stuff. Like I did mock trial in high school, so I was like, yes, this is like my bread and butter. I love like a good, well-written, meaty like opening and closing and like talking passionately to the jury. Of course, I loved Barba being back, and I'm not usually like the hugest fan of like personal scenes and storylines, but I have to say I really, really liked the New Year's Eve montage we had going on and seeing what everyone was kind of doing, kind of checking up with everyone to see, who they might be seeing, who they might not be seeing. I loved the music choice too. I love a good like opening music choice. I thought it was wove everything together really well. So all in all, I really like this episode. I can see myself rewatching it and noticing new things and enjoying it again and again.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I personally felt the case itself was the most obvious. I called.
Listen, when I say me too, like I never get it. Like I never call it, and so when I do, like it's pretty obvious. Like right. I'm the threshold for the bottom. Okay.
As soon as they were like she had the abortion drugs in her, I went. It was the father. It was the guy. And then as soon as we saw her dad leave, I was like, he's gonna shoot him. Like,
totally. Well, they were being so nice to him. I was like, oh, they need to stop telling him all of this stuff, or he's gonna get too close to it, and bad things are gonna happen. And lo and behold, we were exactly right.
But I will say, we needed to get through all of that quickly to get to what this episode was, which was Carisi versus Barba. And honestly, that makes me less upset with how clearly obvious it was. I was like, okay, it's fine because this isn't the point.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you there.
And I think it's really special that we literally last week, we were talking about an old episode. We were talking about demons, and we mentioned that they do not resolve the original case. We don't know who raped the girl on the bus or who left the bus, subway, whatever. We don't know who raped her. And in this episode, they specifically, during trial, confirmed that he was the father of her child, that he was assaulting these girls. So I do appreciate that, like, our complaint was very quickly resolved in the trial.
I agree. And I think that one line about how, like, oh, we found out that he was actually abusing the other 4 foster kids too. I was like, I'm glad that they threw that line in there because like you said, it takes away a lot of like the doubt and messiness and like, oh, we don't exactly know. Like I feel like it was just so smart to add that one clarification so we like know it to be true.
Yeah, I really appreciated that. And Finn being like, we didn't find out until he died about all of
Mm-hmm.
this, which I thought was wonderful. Let's talk about New Year's Eve because I agree. I thought it was really nice to see how each of them were celebrating and give us this really like great understanding of who these characters were. Let's start with Benson and Noah.
Your favorite, Noah.
So when he was like, can I stay up? I was like, she's obviously going to be like, I don't know, can you? Because
Yeah.
you're a child.
Right.
I'm going to say something that's going to be unbelievable.
I'm ready.
Noah, as he is getting older, is becoming less terrible.
I agree. He's like less precocious. He's like more of turning into an actual person with like character instead of just being like, I mean, I feel like that's so hard to shy away from when you're like writing kids on TV, especially one that's not like a main character. You're just like, okay, precocious kid, like the archetype. And I agree with you. He's like actually gaining characteristics of like being a fully formed human being, which is a lot of fun, more fun to see.
Yes. So I don't hate the child. We have gotten to the age where I do not hate him.
This is, guys, you don't understand. If you listen to us, you will know how big of a statement that is.
So that, all right, let's talk about Kat. Kat's partner in the scene, according to IMDb, is named Celine, played by Carrie Kim. I want 100% more of this. 100%.
Me too. Oh, I was just so excited because we've kind of established, you know, I mean, we have established the fact that she is bisexual, and I love that we're showing that actually and like getting to see that representation because it's great to talk about and establish it, but it's really next level to be able to kind of see it happen and then just being cute and intimate. And yeah, I don't know if this was like a one-off date or this is like a more steady partner, but I'm excited to find out and keep seeing more of that.
It's funny because I was like, oh, this has to be like the person you spend New Year's Eve with. That's kind of a big deal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she leaves her and Celine looks real upset, I was like, oh, that's the end of this.
Well, it was interesting. It reminded me immediately. I don't know how many people have seen it, but The Haunting of Hill House with Theo and her girlfriend that she meets in the bar, and it feels like it's going to be one off, but then they end up like actually getting together. And I was like, maybe it'll be like one of those situations where it feels like it's just like a one night thing, but then they reconnect because I don't know. I want to see it. I'm excited to see Kat's personal life.
Me too. Let's talk about Rollins and Carisi. Here's the thing. I'm saying it out loud. I want it acknowledged. They are like brother and sister. That's it.
I'm just not here for it. I know there are a lot of people who are. I'm just simply not one of them. I agree with you. Their chemistry feels a lot more, it just doesn't feel romantic to me. It never has. It's always felt like you said, like a brother and sister who care deeply for each other, but in that way strictly, which I don't think that's what the writers are going for, but that's until I'm exactly proven otherwise in my head, they're brother and sister.
Here's my biggest issue is, and I know that I am very much a Barisi shipper and I'm aware that it's a joke. Like I'm aware that it's not going to happen. It's fine. But I think Rollins has slept with too many coworkers, and I'm not slut shaming her. She can sleep with as many people as she'd like. She should stop sleeping with coworkers because you know that old saying, you don't blank where you eat.
Yeah.
This is that. Stop sleeping with coworkers. And I think that is maybe because Carisi is now an ADA rather than another cop, it might be different and maybe down the line. But I think she needs a solid, healthy relationship with someone outside of her industry, right? Like Dr. Al was outside of her industry, but was terrible. And so I'd like to see her.
Honestly, I'm cool.
No, go ahead.
I'm cool with her being single for a little bit. Like, I'm cool with her. I love that she has a support system. And like we said, like Carisi can still come over and hang out and be almost like an uncle to her kids. But I don't even think that she needs a romantic relationship right now. She's had a lot happen to her. She's been through a lot. She's, like you said, gone through a lot of relationships, which is fine, but they've been toxic and I think kind of messed her up a little bit. So like take time for yourself and like figure out yourself first. I'm cool with that. I don't think we need to jump into something so complicated.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of things that are a lot more serious, let's talk about Finn and Phoebe, which is like official, the most official.
I love them. I love them so much. I don't know. It's something about them I'm so here for.
Yeah, I think bringing back Jennifer Esposito for this role was amazing, especially because when we first met her as Phoebe, we were like, yes, 100%. And then when he's like, you know, we were each other's first partner, that's special. I was like, oh God, yes, I ship it so hard.
Me too. And he's just been kind of this bachelor guy for so long. And I mean, we've heard him talk about how he does his job, he goes home, and that's kind of it. He like plays his video games and whatnot, which is great. And I think he was happy like that for a long time. But I love that he's found someone that's such a good match for him. And I feel like they challenge each other in certain ways, but they also are alike in a lot of ways too. And it's just so cute. And we only got like a little taste of it, but Phoebe did talk about how she's like, oh, I arrested that person and so like, and so maybe we can get more of her sort of popping up every once in a while, because I think she's a really great character and I would love to see her be more prominent.
I agree. I could very much see her being like Kathy, who pops up here and there. And I'm so down. We have Zach Blatch in the chat saying, yay, Finn and Phoebe.
They're so cute. They're so cute. I love them so much.
I agree. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. Let's talk about the episode, the rest of it. We got the Amber Alert. We're looking for this girl, Nydia. She's been ran away or kidnapped, her foster father, whatever. Here's the part that here's why I content warned you all. We talk about this.
I'm so nervous.
Okay, so first of all, Chili Chacon is the best name for a pimp ever.
That was one of my lines. Just not even a line, just the fact his name is Chili is just in and of itself just so good.
So Chili Chacon has a white box truck, which is not a thing I had heard of.
Me neither.
But like, then it's a brothel on wheels, which is genius.
I was shook when I saw the inside. There was a pole and everything. I was like, this is like decked out. Like, it's not good, but it's genius, you know? Like, we're not supporting it, but we're admiring the fact that like you did that.
Right. Him trafficking women is terrible. The brothel on wheels is genius.
It's very innovative. Like, I have to give him that. That's the only thing I'll give him. And the fact that his name's Chili, but I mean, that's where it stops. But yeah, innovative.
It's funny because Phoebe, right? We met her in the episode Brothel, which is where they talk about the pop-up brothels. And this feels like a natural progression from pop-up brothels to like, it's like food truck brothel truck. Right.
It's yeah. I was impressed in a grotesque way.
I was impressed in a that's how you run a business sort of way.
Entrepreneurship.
Seriously, Chili Chacon. That name.
Why didn't you channel this innovative spirit into something legal? Like, that's what I want to know.
I mean, honestly, you could take it and, well, sorry, I'm now thinking of ways that it could work specifically within sex work that is legal. Like, you could do it where like it's a traveling cam show.
Right. Yeah, there's ways to like, or like a strip club or something.
Right.
Something
that's like a party bus.
Within the law, yeah.
I mean, also without trafficking women.
Exactly.
With women doing by choice. Anyway.
Not being the worst person in the world. Exactly.
Oh, Chili. Oh, Chili.
Chili.
Okay, so because of Nydia and AJ, we meet Mickey Davis. I want to give props to actor Brett Parks, who played Mickey Davis. Really great performance. Really amazing the way that like he has this character just has a lot of range, and I really appreciate this performance. Finn
I
being
do
like, I have to tell him once they find out that AJ slipped her in the drugs. I was like, do you? Do you have to
That's the moment I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad. Like this is not whenever you are wanting to get too close to that, it's not gonna turn out well.
It's surprising. I mean, I know that like, so we've talked about before how different cases affect different detectives differently. I've said different 5 times now. So Finn usually, when it's drug related, he gets extra involved. And I know that we've talked about his history, and then Ice-T also was in the military. So like, it just is interesting how involved he got, because there was a line when he's talking to AJ and he's like, I have 2 daughters, I get it. And I was like, or I have 2 teen daughters, I get it. And I was like, this lie is useless. This lie doesn't change because the statement. So when Finn is talking to AJ, he says, give us a DNA sample. And he's like, that could ruin my career. And he goes, look, I have 2 teenage daughters, I get it, but you're innocent, right? Take out the 2 teenage daughters and the sentiment is exactly the same and the result would have been the same. I don't know why that lie was put in there because it didn't play out anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just like thinking on your feet is what it was supposed to show.
Sure.
That's what I'm going to say.
Go for it. I like it. I'll take it. I just think that Finn's like devotion to this case was odd.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like if any of his like circumstances, like I don't think the engagement would have had anything to do with it, probably, but just seeing if there could be a tie there, a link there.
Even if Phoebe had been like more involved in the case because she knew Chili and the mom, like then maybe. But anyway, it's a weird choice. It happened.
It happened.
Then Barba arrives, the moment we are waiting for.
Listen, I'm gay. Like I'm gay, like women exclusively. However, he was looking good. Like the grayish in the hair, like it was a good look for him.
I love everything about what just happened.
It's true. I was just like, wow, like he's looking nice. Like I love this aesthetic for him.
I agree. I'm not gonna argue.
Objectively, it's true. Okay, anyone can see it. I can see it. Anyone can see it.
This is the greatest moment ever. All right, so yes, he looks incredible. And he asks Finn and Liv if he's there to help their cases, and I was like, I appreciate that this is continuing. This storyline of their lawsuits are going to keep going, and I'm waiting for when we get to that point.
It took me a second because I was like, wait, are they being sued by like AJ's family because they like got this guy involved somehow? And I was like, oh yeah, there's still a lot that happened like 4 episodes ago. So it took me a second to like remember. But I'm glad, yes, the continuity.
Yeah, Finn is being sued from the end of last season, and then Benson from the beginning of this season. We have agreements. Callie says, yes, Barba looked great.
Thank you. Exactly.
I love Barba. Yeah, we're all about it. Nancy Sanchez popped in earlier to say, I would love more Barson scenes. I like Barba and Benson scenes. I do not ship them together.
I agree with you. And honestly, a lot of my friends are mad at me about that because I have a lot of Barson shippers in my circle, but it's kind of, it's not exactly the same like dynamic to me as Rollins and Carisi, but it's that like very intense friendship, very much looking out for each other, almost familial in a way. But it's something that I can't describe, but it's not like a shipping energy to me.
I agree. I think that they are really good friends, and that it shouldn't be more than that.
I do feel like they have an understanding of each other in a way that no one else quite does, though, which I like. And it's like more of the intellectual side of that, though, which I like.
Yeah, their banter feels playful, not sexual.
I agree. That's how I rate it, at least personally.
Yeah. I mean, also it kind of feels, I don't know why, but it feels like the writing team tried to get us to ship her with Stone, which I'm also very against. if we're gonna ship her with any of the
For a
ADAs,
whole different set of reasons.
yeah, if we're gonna ship her with any ADA, we all know that it's Alex.
Alex, thank you. And she's no longer working in that department. What is she doing now? Is she helping people in the Congo now, or is she doing something different?
She's helping women escape domestic violence by framing their
Oh,
husband.
that's right. She's left like 5 times, and so I always like forget what the last time was.
That's true.
But yeah, the chemistry there is pretty.
Yeah, that one I
important to me.
But here's what's even more interesting is so my roommate has to sit through SVU because I'm always watching it. So he has seen everything and is all caught up as well. But he has pointed out, and I'm giving him full credit, that both Barba and Alex have essentially left the DA's office and kind of switched sides, right? Like she left and was helping women escape from domestic violence in ways that were against the law.
Yeah.
And he is defending criminals. And the best part is when Benson says to him about the guy, she goes, he's guilty. And he goes, is he? Depends on the jury.
Depends on the jury. I love that line. That was one I wrote down.
But like, I love the fact that we have this show that is propaganda, and we have 2 DAs who are like, the system's broken.
Yeah. I also think that this role for him makes a lot of sense because he was never one to play by the rules. And I mean, all ADAs in some respect usually are kind of like that on SVU. We're like, oh, they don't play by the rules. But like, he was one of the most out there in the best way. Like, but he was so unconventional and didn't play by the rule book at all, ever really. And so I think it actually makes a lot of sense that like this is his path right now. Like, as sad as I am that he's not here with us every week, character-wise, I think that was a smart choice.
I agree. I would love to see him and Calhoun team up.
I love Calhoun. I love her.
I would hate to see. I would love, hate, love. I don't know. I don't want to see it, but I do. Him and Buchanan team up.
I knew you were gonna say Buchanan, and I feel the same way. That would be a pairing for sure.
Because Buchanan is. I hate him. I love to hate him. He's awful.
Oh, he's so the worst, but like the best acting. Like the actor's so good.
Yes, 100%.
Just the worst.
So speaking of things that may come back, we have this scene with Garland who is like putting up boundaries. Do you think we'll get to see, assuming we get to see Barba again, will we see Garland and Barba butt heads again? Because this felt like the beginning of something.
Oh, I feel like that's inevitable. I mean, they're wired so differently. And I understand like Garland came in here afterwards and he has a kind of a territory to protect and he has the title, but Barba has the history and the trust. And I don't think SVU doesn't trust Garland, but there's still a long way to go. So you have that like instinctual loyalty almost in a way. And so they both have pros and they both have cons going for them when it comes to like earning having the squad behind them. So I think that would be really interesting to continue to see that kind of matchup in a way.
I'm also okay with shipping Barba and Garland.
Ooh, that's like the what trope? It's not enemies to lovers, it would be rivals to lovers.
Yes.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this. We got more. Daniel says, can Barba be one of our recurring defense attorneys?
That would be crazy.
So. That is what we're hoping for.
Stranger things have happened, that's for sure.
That's true. And we're open for definitely more Barba and Garland. I'm shipping it now. This is my new ship.
I'm here for that. Let's go. I love how we ship everything that's not canon and like probably never will be. But that's fine. That's who we are. That's what you come here for.
Yes. But to be fair, our ships make sense.
They do. We can explain them. We can give you MLA format 35-page thesis on why they make sense. Okay?
Well, you could.
I could.
I could give you a
and I might
2-hour speech.
Who's to say? I love that. You'll deliver the thesis.
Yes.
Verbally. Love it.
That's how I do it. So now I'm shipping it. I will also say just one more ship note, is that Rollins and what was his name from last season? Oh, I don't remember. The other cop, the one who worked Subway and then came and helped them with the ballerinas. And
Yes,
the one,
vaguely
yeah.
remember that.
Oh, I don't remember his name. Because I wrote it phonetically. And now I'm trying to remember how I wrote it, and now I can't remember it at all. Anyway, that's who she should be with. Moving on. This was the first time in SVU history. This is 22 seasons in that we saw a scene with voir dire, which is jury selection. There is a deleted scene that was released on Twitter of Barba showing Carisi how jury selection is done from a previous episode. So I'm so glad that they deleted that because now we got to see the whole process. Yes, thank you, Zach Caldoon.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Now I know who you're talking. Yes. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm completely on board now.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach. So anyway, this is our first time seeing voir dire. I'm going to retweet the link, the video of the deleted scene. I will tell you where to find that later, or if you're looking at the screen, it is literally written for you. But I'll tell you where to find it later. Also, if you really, really like watching that, if that's like your jam, Taylor, there's literally a show called Bull, which is about jury selection.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I knew that was like a law show, but I didn't know that was
the
like niche of it. But okay, cool.
Yeah, he's a like jury scientist and
I'll have to check that out because I loved this scene. I loved how fast paced it was. I think the editing was really good because
I agree.
Such a quick process, and I love how we saw like the speeches at the beginning of that, and it was so in character because Barba was very sarcastic and charismatic, and Carisi was like, we have to let them know the facts and like buy the book because he's kind of starting out and wants to do everything right. And so loved seeing those two juxtaposed next to each other like that.
I totally agree. Some of my favorite lines are from there, and I'll read them in a bit. I also think that it's really interesting that the result at the end of the trial was the original offer that Carisi made to Barba. I really love that Carisi won and that it was exactly how it would have turned out had they not done it. I think everything about the decisions were perfect because I was watching and I was like, they have to end it undetermined. I was like, this is gonna be another episode where we don't know who did it or who won because we don't want to, have one of them do better than the other. And I think that this solution was even better than that.
I agree because I was like, who are they going to make win? Because obviously, like, just from a writing to the audience standpoint, in a way, like, because Barba's he's our guy, we all love him, but Carisi, like, he's our guy now, and like we have to see him prove himself. And so I think that the kind of compromise in a way, and that it would have been like the original deal, like, yes, Carisi won, but like in a way they both kind of did because it was like a still pretty light sentence and like what they were discussing earlier. So I agree. I thought that was like the perfect compromise.
Totally. The ideal solution. Also Carisi's feeling betrayed at the end. He says he's feeling betrayed by his old unit. This has to come back. Like he has to continue to feel like he's been othered by his team. This has to be a furthered story.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really smart thing to bring up. And I also love the continuity that he just like gets stomach aches constantly, like him chugging that Pepto. I know a couple seasons ago he like threw up like right after
because it was his first time.
And I just like that's such a fun character touch and one that I can relate to. Like I understand how you feel.
It's not just that Barba's like his stomach can't handle taking this to trial. Like everyone knows that Carisi has this issue, but I love it.
It was such a good touch. It was so comedic too. Like just chugging it in his office. I was like, oh, poor thing.
And we end the episode with Benson and Barba talking. And she says, how much of this was about you? Maybe you were defending yourself. I do want to give a shout out to our amazing writers who I feel like got stuck with, they got handed garbage and they went, we have to make this work. And I think that is really wonderful. And what I'm talking about, just to clarify, the way that Barba was removed from the show was bull. And this is, I think, the best way to deal with it.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, no, I like that too. I don't think it like completely like was a line about, oh, he's missing stuff, but I agree with you. I really liked the sentiment behind that. And I think it kind of tied up his exit and coming back really nicely. I also want to say, did everyone see what the sign in the background said? Elliot
Tell
House.
us what it said. Yes.
Foreshadowing or coincidence? Perhaps both.
Yes, that's right. Benson walks across the street and behind her it says Elliot's house. Nice.
Nice.
Taylor, I know you have some of your favorite lines. I'm going to start with one of mine just because I don't want you to steal it because I know you have more than me.
Yeah.
I really love when Carisi is like, it's not who wears the snazziest suit or talks the fastest, because we know that Barba wears the snazzier suit.
And talks the fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that too. I just love their tension in this episode. It's so fun to see them go head to head.
Carisi and Barba?
Yeah.
Oh, when Barba's in the office at the first time he goes to see Carisi, I literally was like, they're flirting.
Yeah, there's just so much good like banter, and
yeah,
I love it. I love it so much. In terms of lines, 40 per shorty. It's so bad, but I rewound it and I was like, did he say what I thought he said? He didn't do that. From his white box truck. Going for insanity, I'm going for straight up not guilty. I was like, oh, that was so bold and confident. I love that line. It was so Barba. And then I forget the exact context, but I think it has something to do with Mickey. And he was like, he said basically no thank you, but more anatomically.
Yes, I wrote that one too because it was great. That was his response to Carisi's deal offer.
Yeah. He said no thank you, but more anatomically. That was so good.
That's definitely one of my favorites. The first time it happened, I was like, because I watched the episode twice, I was like, well, I got to remember to write that one down. And then as it happened again, I was like, there it is.
There it is. You knew it was coming.
The other line that I have is, you can find me all you want, Your Honor, but I'm not going to stop asking questions. I'm fighting for my client's freedom the same way he fought for our country's. I was like, damn, way to lay it on real thick.
And the fact that the judge just shut up, I was like, I would probably be holding him in contempt because that was out of pocket. Like, that was not necessary. But
not only was it not necessary, first of all, yes, I'm going to find you. Second of all, that's so rude. And third of all, you're testifying. You don't get to testify.
Yeah, no, I thought he was laying it on so thick, and she just let him. I was like, you're the judge. Like, you were the highest being in this room. Like, you need to get this under control.
Yes. I also, those are the best lines from the episode. I told you all, I was like, what do my notes say? I told you already about this specialty that it is the first time we got to see Vadir. There is a deleted scene. And I guess that takes us to the weekly poll.
Yes. Okay, so last week we asked you guys what your favorite episode that ends without a verdict is. And in last place with 0% of the vote, we have Dis. Poor Dis. Sad. In third place, we have, second place, I guess, there's a tie. We have Demons, which is the one we discussed last week, which is season 7, episode 1, and Down Low in Hell's Kitchen, which was season 21, episode 3. And then in first place, we have, I guess, probably the classic episode, one would say, that ends without a verdict, Doubt, which is season 6, episode 8, which is fair because it kind of started that trend. It was like the OG shocker episode.
Thank you. I was very, very worried that Doubt was tied for second. I was going to be very upset.
Yeah, no, it got first, I think, with like almost 50%. So, as it should. This week, we asked something a little different because there was so much New Year's Eve content. We want to know who you guys would want to spend New Year's Eve with this year. In last place at the moment, which is just a crime, is Finn and Phoebe, because I might choose that one. They had a fun dinner. I think they'd be fun conversation. I would love that. In third place at the moment, we have Kat and her date, which, guys, what are you doing? They were having a grand old time. It's fine. Second place, we have Rollins and Carisi. It does look fun. Pizza, blankets. I mean, I can get behind that, but there's children there too. In first place, which is not super surprising to me, we have Olivia and Noah, which, yeah, I would also spend New Year's with Olivia and literally anyone else as long as Olivia's there. I understand the appeal. So that's right now, but that could very well change. Right now,
how long
next week?
Next week?
Until next Saturday. I set it for 6 days, so you got all week to think about it and vote your heart out.
Okay, because here's what happened. I obviously meant to say Kat.
Yeah, I figured.
But my fat finger slipped and I hit Phoebe and Finn.
I would honestly, I would not be mad about spending with any of them. Let's be honest.
I would. 2 of them have children.
Okay, but here's the thing. It depends on what New Year's vibe you're going for. Like, if you want a good, fun time, you go with Kat. If you want a nice little romantic dinner with some good combo, you go with Finn and Phoebe. If you want pizza and babysitting, you go with Rollins. And if you just want to be in the presence of Olivia Benson, you go with Olivia. Which, like I said, there's a kid there, but it's Olivia, so kind of more than makes up for it, in my opinion.
I really appreciate your thoughtfulness.
You're welcome.
But first of all, Finn and Phoebe, I was like, do you guys know, have you gone out to dinner on New Year's Eve? It's expensive.
It is. But if I'm not paying.
Why would you not be paying? You're not dating Finn or Phoebe.
Yet.
That's fair. All right, that's fair. I see your point. Moving along, we have a new segment here on the show that we started this season, and I freaking love it. What did we learn?
You go first, because I
don't
know yet. Go first.
I learned that you could get a white box truck and have a brothel on wheels.
I'm going to say, if you shoot someone in broad daylight, hire Barba to be your lawyer. Because you're going to get man too. And that's not that bad for shooting someone in broad daylight, I wouldn't say.
I mean, it's still a felony. You still go to prison. You still murdered someone.
Not for life.
That's true. Fair.
It was broad daylight 3 times. Point blank range. That is, you don't get much more obviously aggressive than that. It's not even it's man too. That's pretty good for that.
That's fair. That is fair. Oh, not the right button.
Tell us what you guys learned too.
Yeah, what did you learn?
Everybody picked up from this.
This episode was great. I think the original story that we started with was quick and dirty so we could get to the actual stuff we wanted to deal with. I loved Barba's back. I'm very happy with this episode all in all. Any final thoughts before I remind everybody of the RAINN Hotline in case they need it?
I want more Barba.
Mm-hmm.
I want more Kat and whoever the girls. What did you say her name is? Celine. I want more of that. I want more Finn and Phoebe. I just want more of all these people, pretty much.
Yeah, I really thought that Kat was with a girl named Gina from that episode where we went Gina.
Yes. Yeah. That was a good episode too, and a good character. And I know we can't do it every episode because it would get repetitive, but I do really like the jury selection. So I would not be mad if we saw more snippets of those. I thought it was interesting.
Callie says, I learned that Barba being back makes me so damn happy.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I learned that Taylor can appreciate a good-looking man.
When it's Barba and he looks like that, yeah. It was so suave, I think is the right word. He's suave, He's a cool guy.
I love it. Next week we have a new episode. I cannot wait to discuss it. But until then, if you need help, if you need the RAINN Hotline, again, it is 1-800-656-4673, 1-800-656-4673. They're not sponsoring us. We just want to make sure people have help.
On sponsorship.
It would be an amazing sponsorship, although we should be giving them money. Not the point.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that that's they sponsor, but you're right. We should give them money. We should give them money too.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining us. We will be back next week, usual time, Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're also available for audio listening wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to jump into the poll, Taylor, where can everyone find the poll?
Sure, you guys can find me and the poll on Twitter at alphabet_Ann. And you can find me on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_. I also have a Twilight podcast called Win and Forks. You can listen to that everywhere as well if you're into that sort of thing.
Thank you. I thought you disappeared for a second. You're there. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Usually I'm on Twitter talking about SVU. Also, on Mondays and Wednesdays, you can find me, and possibly other days, on Twitch, trying to figure out how to play video games and failing miserably. Twitch.tv/Yael Tygiel. Wow. So that's cool. We just got a real nice shout out from a Mr. Brett Parks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Brett Parks.
Mr. Brett Parks, who I believe you may all recognize as Mickey Davis from this episode. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week for more Law and Order SVU. Bye, everybody.